Hello, and welcome back to Half-Half Alyx, where we will be continuing with the quarantine zone today. Again, we will be continuing with the game dev comments as well. I switched the spectator to the left one because I think this is more how I perceive the game, and on recording it's way more shifted to the right. So hopefully, what I see will now match more or less better with what is depicted on the recording. That being said, without further ado, let us continue. So, health injectors. I do have one. I don't need it yet because my health is okay. That will be my gun. Shush. Cool. Okay. What are we doing? Oh yeah, the big red barrel. So let's see. So right now for me, things are matched up. I hope in the recording it will be matched as well.
Do you hear that?
What is that?
Probably nothing good.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's the way we gotta go.
No shortcut?
Yeah, that is the shortcut.
We had to ensure that players would become proficient at reloading their pistol during the early levels of the game, or later encounters in the game would be overly difficult. The prior map contained only static targets in the form of barnacles. Players could engage the barnacles at their own pace, but there were enough of them that players would need to reload at least a few times. This first live zombie is locked behind the chain link fence and cannot reach the player until the player opts into the encounter by shooting the lock on the door. The placement of zombies in the upcoming section of the game is designed to require plenty of reloading, to ensure that the player builds up this skill.
What are those? Also barnacles? Yeah, maybe just younger ones. Buddy, are you doing okay? Are you doing okay? Are you? Aww.
Alright, that seems to work. Let's keep doing that.
I will be so terrible in shooting these
just so
guys.
you know, the Russells have a built-in display. Shows you resin, ammo, might come in handy.
Got it. Thanks.
I will be so bad in shooting them. You look ugly. Look how professional I am. This will totally not backfire. Wait, right? I need to adjust my room boundary. I will probably do it after the episode, but as soon as I extend my arm, it thinks I'm too close to the boundary and like I see all that thing flare up around me, which is breaking my immersion a bit. Maybe I can... No, not much. I mean, this thing is pretty much very close, so... Yeah, maybe just a few centimeters back. I don't like the fact that you have like the zombie moan. Like, where does the zombie moan? Hmm? This is so cool. And I still have... Nope. Yeah, I still have this thing. Goodbye. Break open a supply crate with your hands. Ooh. What is that? I don't think that it is interactable. Okay.
Virtual reality provides the opportunity to add physicality to gameplay, but this needs to be balanced against player fatigue and accessibility. For example, we experimented with a low ceiling in this area, requiring players to crouch the whole time that they made their way across the tops of these train cars. Playtesters did not enjoy having to crouch for so long, so we raised the ceiling.
Okay. I mean, that's on me. I think that went marginally better. I think I still damaged myself. But that's okay, I can... Oh, I need to prepare it? Oh, it's not the trigger. It's this thing. Okay, so in my stomach that kind of works. Yeah, now I'm littering. Hmm. Well, I don't see them anywhere, so...
Oh boy.
Yeah, be careful.
I mean, if they're all walked out there... No, open it. Thank you. Oh god. Oh, that shit was terrifying. I did not expect the dude to be inside the train car. Nope. Nope. Too much stuff on my head.
The breakable glass panels in Half-Life Alyx are yet one more system designed to convince players that they are present in a living, breathing world. The panels detect the position of an incoming impact and procedurally generate new, smaller glass panels in a radial pattern around the impact position. These new panels can then break into smaller panels themselves, and so on. We found that players would often break glass panels accidentally, then spend time testing just how interactive they really were by trying to break them more, eventually realizing that yes, the glass really did shatter at the appropriate location. At one point, we experimented with building special puzzles out of breakable glass, but in the end we found the glass to be more appropriate as a passive interactive element in the world, one that reacts in a satisfying way to a variety of impacts, from zombie melee attacks to incoming gunfire or any other physical interaction in the game.
So you cannot... Okay. Can you... Yep. Oh shit. Let us leave these guys over there for now. And let's check this thing. Weapon upgrades.
Alyx, I think that's a combine fabricator. Put something in it. I want to see how this thing works.
Got it. Will it work on the Russells?
No, but it should fix up that pistol nicely. Good thing, too, I gave you one of my lesser guns.
Thanks, Russell.
Well, you know, in case it doesn't make it back.
Tell you what, Russell. If I die, I owe you a gun.
You owe me a gun anyway. That wasn't a gift. That's my gun.
The dude is quite attached to his stuff, but I can relate to that.
Weapon upgrades are a new feature for the Half-Life franchise, and fictionally this mechanic paired well with Alyx's tinkering nature. We approached this design challenge first by thinking about what sort of upgrades could be meaningful and also provide additional value to players without removing established interactions. With limited resin to spend, the upgrade system also provided an avenue for players to personalize and invest in their favorite weapon, or streamline an interaction on another weapon, increasing its value to them. For example, the reflex sight still requires players to physically aim, but it improves the feedback on exactly where their shot will hit, and exposes previously hidden enemy weak points. While some players enjoyed this feedback and new targeting opportunities, others didn't and would instead focus on upgrades that suited their style of play. This allowed players to spend their limited resin on upgrades they cared about the most. Another aspect of weapon upgrades that we focused on was not necessarily obvious when we first started to design and test combat in VR. Due to the more physical nature of combat in VR, it can really push on the mental and physical capacity of certain players, as they're required to utilize both their hands and move their head to take in the environment dealing with enemies. While this is a very natural experience, there's also a lot going on at any given point with reloading and combat. As we observed players in some of these more intense combat situations, we started finding opportunities to allow some upgrades to reduce the number of times a physical interaction was required, or reduce the complexity of a particular interaction. The autoloader on the shotgun is a good example. When added to the shotgun, the normally slow, methodical action of feeding shells into the gun is replaced with a far simpler, faster interaction of slapping the shells into the autoloader before they get automatically fed into the gun. This allows players to look around, focus less on the gun while reloading, and take in more of what's going on around them.
There is no water. There is no water. Okay. Oh, 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 okay. Oh. I hacked something. Forgot about these minigames. Insert weapon in cradle. It's a display that highlights tactical targets. Adds a toggle between 3-shot burst and single fire. Okay. Reservoir that holds 10 additional bullets. And a laser sight for better targeting. Well, I think we will go with the classic. How do I insert resin now? Oh shit. Okay, that's 5. That's 10. Install your first pistol upgrade. Take item.
Oh, that really worked, didn't it? Huh.
Yo. Okay. I don't think I have enough resin. Well, you only show me... Okay, yeah, I do have 10 of them. That is not enough. Player comfort and pacing.
At the beginning of the Half-Life Alyx project, we had the expectation that players would want to take a break after 30 to 45 minutes, since that's what we were seeing with the lab and other small-scale VR experiences available at the time. Because of this, we designed the pacing of the game's levels around play sessions of that duration. Over the course of development, however, the game itself included more downtime between intense combat encounters, and the comfort of the new crop of HMDs improved significantly. In fact, as the game progressed, we found that players were happy to play for hours on end. At the end of a playtest, players would often remark that this was the longest they had ever played VR in a single session.
Oh, I forgot about... I did not notice you. Are you gonna be angry over there? Yep. There is one problem in recording in VR. Oh, maybe it's my particular problem. Is that I like to have subtitles. Because I don't want to not hear something. So... But when you record stuff, you can make a nice shot, for example, of this train station, right? But when you have like subtitles, they get into the frame, and that's kind of not super nice. Okay. Still have plenty in the chamber, so plenty in the mag. So that is that. Enjoy the natural taste of water, massive peaks. Reality defined. Just to be on a safer side, you know? Do you see anyone over here? I don't. I feel like this is some sort of a trap. Yep.
Nice shooting, Alyx.
Thanks. You know, for all your talk about what a lesser gun this is, this thing isn't half bad.
Have some barnacles outside. This dude. Yeah, pretty much a lot of barnacles out there. Okay, maybe we go over there. Nope. Yeah. Nope. And you don't even give me anything, you bastard. Oh, neither did this one. Oh no, that one gave me some ammunition. Nope. Still nothing. Okay. Let's move on. Shall we? Do not enter.
I see it.
Headcrab foreshadowing. Okay, cool. I'm totally gonna die to a headcrab, right?
Until this point in the game, players have only seen headcrabs attached to the heads of zombies. This led playtesters familiar with headcrabs from prior games to anticipate encountering them on their own. We decided to play up this anticipation by foreshadowing the first headcrab encounter with a headcrab that drops out of a vent before disappearing, as well as headcrab sounds in the environment, including a threatening headcrab sound coming from the partially boarded up doorway ahead.
Well, I guess. Good freaking job.
Where to go?
Hmm.
Yep,
This
there it
one
is. Found him.
wasn't
Probably only
moving
one
too
of
much, which was comfortable because I kinda panicked and I did not notice where my point is. The problem is that I hear more of them.
Okay, two of those.
Okay, maybe just two. Yeah, I saw some resin over there. Ugh. What is this? Ew. Three out of 90? I'm really wasting these bullets, eh? I have just 90 of them left. Oh. New zone. Let's go.
Heard anything about Dad, Russell?
No. Radio silence since he got on the train.
Damn it.
Well, the good news is he's probably fine.
How do you know that?
Because they're taking him to Nova Prospect to torture him. That's the torture place. So they're hardly going to torture him before they get there. So he's fine. Logically speaking.
Russell, I wasn't really listening to you very much. Because there was a goddamn headcrab over there. I'm doing okay, so I'm not gonna crush the little guy. Something like that. Okay. Nothing over here. Hmm. That was not a very nice behavior. This all is empty. We have some resin over here. Ooh.
That there is a floppy disk. We used to store information on them, with magnets, if you can believe it.
Oh.
Specifically, 2 micrometers magnetic iron oxide, 3 micrometers barium ferrite, 1.2...
Hey, Russell? How do you know all this?
I'm reading it here on my computer. I downloaded the internet before the war.
You downloaded the entire internet.
Most of it.
Nice.
Yeah, it is.
This is kind of insane. Nope. Almost. We will get there in the end. Don't worry. No. Oh god damn it, I made a mess. Ugh. It's a little bit upsetting that none of these computers is in working. Oh my god, that was horrible. None of these computers is in working state because and I cannot even put the stuff into my pockets. Because it would have been nice to maybe play this floppy disk somewhere where you can hopefully play it. Okay. It is absolutely not creepy. Is that a symbol of an eye? It looks that way.
Russell, are you seeing this?
Possibly. Are you seeing floating garbage?
It looks like it's just cardboard.
Right. Well, seems harmless.
Yeah. Weird, though.
More of an old equipment here and there. Okay. Whoa.
Guess that.
So these are wards. These are ant lions. Half-Life mural and musical motifs. What am I looking at? So this is the Vortigaunt, and these are the wards, and they are all enslaved by this entity. Is this name the Nihilant? It kinda does look like it, yeah. Well, that's clearly Mr. Freeman. Lambda symbol on his chest, crowbar in his hand, in the left one, which is interesting. Not sure what this is. These are the dogs. Again, the Nihilant. Actually, many of them. And some of them are crossed out. Maybe they were dead and only this one remains, but there is a crowbar on his head. Again, wards. And this looks like a citadel with our guy right over there. Huh. While we are listening to the mural, probably first. Yeah.
There are two layers to the markings on the walls in this area. The square and dot patterns, that are the functional elements of the environmental puzzle, and the mural representing the Vortigaunt's interpretation of the events of the Half-Life saga. For the first few years of development, this area only contained the dot patterns supporting the perspective puzzle. But as we fleshed out the rest of the level, we found that playtesters responded especially positively to the Vortigaunt's wall markings leading up to the hideout. It was at this point that we realized that this area could serve as a canvas for our Vortigaunt's artistic magnum opus. To do this, we organized the dot patterns into a sort of swirling star field behind the Vortigaunt's art. The imagery itself, which was inspired by petroglyphs and other traditional rock art, portrays many significant events from the Combine invasion, painted hurriedly by the injured Vortigaunt, almost as if he was trying to capture what fleeting memories he still had of the vortessence from which he had been severed. The fact that Vortigaunts have a complicated relationship with time gave us a lot of leeway in terms of drawing this as a strict, linear timeline. For example, you may notice that the Vortigaunt uses contemporary Combine troops as shorthand for Combine invasions from the past, or that the timeline is just generally hazy. A little from the past, little from the present, and a little looking forward to the future events of Half-Life 2.
Yeah, because the Citadel and Gordon visiting it, it's gonna happen later in the timeline.
There are many musical themes and motifs used throughout the game to represent unspoken aspects of the story and lore. For example, the Vortigaunts play an integral role in the subplot of the game, and we chose to use music to subconsciously communicate the repeating nature of their role both in the timeline of Half-Life Alyx and in the larger timeline of the Half-Life saga. Within the music in this scene, you'll hear variations of themes used throughout the timeline of the game, from the very first sounds of the game up to the finale in the vault. Variations of these motifs represent the imprisoned chanting of the Vortigaunts, the extraction of their energy to confine the G-Man, as well as historically familiar sounds representing the vortescence itself.
They are saying that this puzzle is supposed to be related to your positioning, right, or something, but like each of these squares, like some of them show same pattern, but some of them differ slightly. So for example, this one matches that one. Yeah, but does not match this one. And I'm not even like talking about this part of the wall. I find this puzzle very, like, there is not much to, not much hints are given. Okay. Okay. Maybe. Oh. Okay, so you're saying red. But do you differ at all depending on the button that I press? Yeah, like not this one. To always just point out that this thing is wrong, right? But it must be one of these. I mean, it must be. But they all differ so much. I might be stuck on this puzzle for a while. Because I believe I tried one of these combinations. I mean, I can just, I guess, try all of them. I'm not sure if I can see any particular difference in one.
That one's Black Mesa.
Somebody spent a lot of time on this.
I wonder if they do give you some sort of a hint. Like maybe if you're close enough. Okay, let's try 1-3 and 3-2. Nope. This one? Oh. So it was... I don't know if you can see it properly, but it was this one. Just to the left of the mural.
Attention, please. Access is not permitted. Anti-citizen scavenging will result in immediate capital prosecution.
More drawings. These look like headcrabs. These are barnacles. And this is the city protection.
Alyx, you alright? What's wrong?
I'm fine, Russell. What's up?
I'm losing your signal. Alyx? Alyx? If you can still hear me, keep heading in the same direction and try to get above ground.
Russell? Russell?
The eye. Some dogs or hounds here and there. I don't know how do you call the echo dogs, the one that scream a lot in the first Half-Life. I mean, there should be a name, right? They all have a name. The fact that you see the white just going out of this door is a little bit like, it's not cool. Yo, okay.
Whoa. This is weird.
During our earliest attempts to raid Alyx, our instinct was to have her react to absolutely everything. But what we learned from playtesting was that Alyx reacting too much could actually be off-putting. Say a player is in a really tense, zombie-filled level, and they're having a great time, but suddenly Alyx is in their head, sounding angry, or frightened, or anxious. These Alyx reactions were creating a disconnect between how the player was feeling and how the character they were role-playing as was feeling. So we took a lot of those out. The Alyx reactions we left in tended to be the ones that were practically universal. Alyx's reaction here to the surreal entrance to the Vort hideout is a good example, where it was just so different from everything the player had seen up until then, and kind of takes you by surprise. We watched so many playtests where the player would see it and say, "Whoa, that's weird." So we had Alyx say the same thing a second later, almost like an echo.
Well, let's use the doorbell.
Oh.
The Alyx fans.
Ooh, up close you're so weird.
My messages.
What messages?
Come. Enter.
Okay. Thanks.
You are.
So, what's a Vortigaunt doing here?
Cooking? Okay.
Right, but I mean in general.
I have a brain injury.
Oh, I'm sorry to...
My brain is injured.
That's terrible, and I hope... Look, I'm actually pretty busy looking for my father.
The...
Eli
Vance. Yes.
The Combine have him, and I really do need to get moving.
The Combine. Yes. Do not go yet. I must show you something.
Look, I appreciate...
This way.
I can't stick around,
It is important.
I know, I'm sure it is.
The Alyx Vance must go this way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Does feel like a bit of a trap. I like the herbs and spices. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of these moving plants over there. Yeah, these do the up close and personal also not super cool.
For as long as we've been making choreographed scenes like this one, we found that there are two types of players. Those who become engrossed with the characters, and those who tinker with everything around them, paying little attention to the scene's action. To make these environments entertaining for the tinkerers, we usually add objects for them to find and play with. Since this scene is split into 2 rooms, we were able to add a large number of interactions to this first room for players to discover after the Vortigaunt has moved to the second room. Some interactive objects are pure physically driven toys, like the dangling headcrab corpses and the hanging pans. Others are animations triggered by the player's actions, like the way the caged headcrabs react to the player approaching or shooting them. One type of object on the table is a squeezable headcrab heart, which is a remnant from an older version of this scene where the player would revive a wounded Vortigaunt by squeezing nectar from these hearts. While that scene didn't work out, we found the experience too compelling and, well, too gross to completely cut from the game.
I did not want to know that.
I will show you why I brought you here.
The fundamental challenge of any choreographed dramatic scene like this one is making sure that we entertain the player without undermining the delivery of critical game.
Like the eland. The Alyx man. Free them.
I would help. I really would, but the Alyx Vance is honestly very busy saving her dad.
You will not save him. He is dead.
What?
Or he will be.
Is or will be?
Well, we all will be.
It's a matter of perspective. But Alyx Vance alone cannot prevent his fate.
Look, thank you for everything, but I really have to go. And I'm sorry, but I really don't have time for riddles.
No riddles. The Combine drilled here. I am severed from the vortessence. I am alone in my head.
I'm sorry. Look, if I can, if I run across your friends, I will see what I can do.
You have saved my king.
I haven't.
Then you will.
So a matter of perspective, eh?
Courage,
okay.
Alyx Vance.
The fundamental challenge of any choreographed dramatic scene like this one is making sure that we entertain the player without undermining the delivery of critical gameplay information. In this case, the player needed to leave this scene with the knowledge that the Vortigaunts have been imprisoned and that the player should seek the Northern Star. This particular scene went through many different variations during development, from a cooking scene with an extremely traumatized Vortigaunt to this humorous version. We even experimented with an interaction where the player was required to squeeze the nectar of several headcrab hearts into the Vortigaunt's mouth to revive him. While this was a memorable and novel VR interaction that ensured the player was engaged with the scene, the interactivity on the player's part often resulted in playtesters remembering the actions they took, but not the critical gameplay information. Eventually, we ended up with this more humorous scene, which struck an effective balance between entertainment and goal delivery. Importantly, we also distributed the scene across 2 separate rooms, breaking the information delivery into 2 steps. The first room where the player meets and learns about the state of the Vortigaunt, and the second room where the player is given their new goal. Separating these physically into rooms seemed to help players more reliably retain the critical information delivered in the second room. While this scene did undergo a lot of changes, one story beat remained virtually unchanged from the very first roughed-in version.
the moment the Vortigaunt tosses a headcrab carcass down to the player and yells, "Sustenance!" Right from the start, this moment always got a great reaction from playtesters and remained all the way to the final product.
Sustenance.
There, Alyx Vance.
I am not flexible enough to put myself in, like, often I struggle to put myself in other people's shoes, right? So it's really it really is impressive how developers not only they also realize that they have to make space and make entertainment for different people, those who actually pay attention to the story and those who pay attention to the world and like mess with it. I'm sure that I would be like a grumpy guy who would either like drill down in one particular group. So like I would really go with only like the story related guys probably, and like I'm not sure I would have added a lot of elements for the other group, which is horrible of course, but that's why I'm not writing games, I guess.
Through there, Alyx Vance.
Okay. A bit trippy, but manageable.
I will help the Alyx Vance. Look to the northern star.
Why?
For guidance.
Okay, thanks. Are you done helping?
I am not. Here. Sustenance.
I'll eat it later. Thanks for the help.
You will be welcome.
Sustenance. Bumped my head a little bit. Receive a tasty treat. I do not like this tunnel one bit. Okay, it's a loading zone. Loading zone I can tolerate. Let's go a little bit further, and then we will probably wrap an episode.
Alyx! Alyx, the signal's back. Can you hear me? Are you okay?
Russell, I'm good. How's Dad?
They've got him on the train. He's on the move. You've got to find Fairview Junction before they get there.
I'm working on it.
Just give me a moment. Oh, that's the armored headcrab. Also the new and wonderful addition to the game. They also do give you a lot of headgear over here. Oh my... Okay, that is surprisingly challenging. Oh, disgusting. Listen, I tried. Oh. I am not looking forward to this.
So anything happened when you cut out?
You're not gonna believe this, but I ran into a Vortigaunt.
Vortigaunt? What was he doing down there?
Hiding. I think he escaped from the Combine.
What did he say?
You ever meet a Vortigaunt? He said crazy Vortigaunt stuff.
We spend time on every game design element thinking about how the player is expected to learn of its existence and understand its details. Some design elements are so important that the game experience will break if the player doesn't understand them, while others may just be fun diversions or rewards for exploring the game's systems. Any required element will require work on our part to teach the player. In Half-Life, we try to teach elements in ways that feel as natural as possible, entwined within the core flow of the game so that you don't feel like the game just stopped to teach you something. We don't always succeed, but the attempts usually lead us somewhere interesting. In this case, we need to teach the players about the armored headcrab. The key elements that we want them to understand are that the headcrab is invulnerable on the top, but has a weak spot on its belly. We would also like the player to learn that the headcrab exposes its weak spot right before it jumps, but this isn't required. The player can fall back to shooting the weak spot as the headcrab scrambles around after a leap.
Teaching design elements of enemies is always tricky. Players have shown us for years that it's really hard to learn something new while under attack. We've also seen that invulnerability, in particular, is a difficult enemy feature to teach. If players are blasting away at an enemy, they are often not paying close attention to the impact feedback. If the enemy is vulnerable in some areas and not others, players may kill the enemy with a spray of gunfire, not realizing that some of their shots did nothing, while others hit critical weak spots. So when we approached the armored headcrab training, we knew we'd need to do significant work. The first step was to avoid placing the player under duress by containing the enemies inside this wire fence. Next, we placed headcrabs at eye level facing the player, exposing their bright, pulsing weak spot. If the player shoots one immediately, they are rewarded with a unique death effect where the headcrab explodes into chunks. This effect is designed to show the player that they did something special to kill this headcrab, as opposed to how they've been killing headcrabs up until now. There are a couple of other pieces in the setup here that are important. A second headcrab is placed right behind the lock the player must shoot to enter the cage, encouraging the player to notice the weak spot and try shooting it. 2 more headcrabs are loose in the cage, scripted to repeatedly attack invisible points on the wire fence. This ensures they are constantly demonstrating the way they expose their weak points before they leap, and this allows players to practice hitting the weak spot from behind the safety of the fence.
With any section of natural entwined training, we've observed that there's rarely any one thing that succeeds in teaching all players, nor do 100% of players leave with the perfect understanding we'd like. If player understanding is absolutely critical, we have to build a more bulletproof gate that ensures the player demonstrates understanding before moving onwards. In fact, we do just that when the player acquires the shotgun in the next area. In the case of the armoured headcrab, however, playtesting showed that we could afford to let a few players through with less than perfect understanding. This section gave them enough of a chance to experiment that they got a sense of what was going on, and further encounters with armoured headcrabs solidified it. There was still a lot of iteration on the visual design of the headcrab to further drive home its armour and weak point, and we also added a custom response to shotgun fire. In that case, the armoured headcrab flips over and wriggles for a second, exposing its weak point. This was added to reduce the resource loss we saw happening in players who were still struggling to understand the armoured headcrab mechanics after they acquired the shotgun.
Now, I think this is the spot where I would like to stop for today. We got a nice introduction to the armored headcrabs. So what you got? Progressing the story. So far, so good. Now I will need to take a small break before I will be able to go further, just so that I'm not so that later, after you spend some time in VR, it does not hit you like a train when you go back to the usual reality, the real reality. So yeah, we will be pausing for now. We will continue further. Thank you so much for staying with me. I hope you enjoy my company and my slightly opaque presence over here and my gameplay, of course. If any of this is the case, then please leave me a like and subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, let me know down in the comments what I can improve for you. I hope to see you next time. Have a nice day out there, and bye. It does not make a thumbs up as much as I wanted to. Oh well. Bye.